This week on Inside Boulder News. It's been 6 years since Colorado's passing of recreational marijuana. Join us as we go over some of Boulder's laws. City Council voted on the 2019 budget. Find out where funds will be allocated. And the 15-year period to come into compliance for this ordinance comes to an end. Welcome to Inside Boulder News, your source for all things Boulder. I'm Jocelyn Avendaño. Every year, the city comes together to adopt a balanced budget by the 1st of December for the following year's annual budget. After months of discussions, guidance of residents and community leaders, Boulder City Council came to a decision at the October 16th council meeting. The 2019 budget of $353.7 million was approved in a unanimous vote by City Council. After council guidance and community feedback, the budget will provide additional funding to support several areas in the city. Some highlighted items that the budget will support include funding of the arts under the Community Culture Plan and extending operating hours at the Carnegie Library. In total, the budget is a 9.1% decrease compared to this year's spending budget. For a full look at the city's 2019 budget, please visit bouldercolorado.gov/budget. Recreational marijuana in Colorado was legalized in 2012. Since then, many states across the nation had followed in Colorado's footsteps. Recently, Canada became the second country to legalize recreational marijuana, Uruguay being the first. And though it's been 6 years since its passing in Colorado, there are still some questions that revolve around the issue. We spoke to Marijuana Enforcement Officer Rebecca Bostrak to learn more. 9 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized recreational marijuana for adults 21 and over. Medical marijuana is currently legal in 30 states. While all states have different laws regarding marijuana, some cities have passed stricter laws, including Boulder.
Our city has said every aspect of the state law, pretty much. We've decided to even go more strict on it to protect our youth from advertising and other issues.
Protecting children from marijuana advertising was a big priority for the city of Boulder. Studies show that continual exposure to marijuana advertising lowers the perception of risk. For this reason, marijuana shops in Boulder are only allowed to show their store name, address, and business hours.
In order to buy recreational marijuana, you have to be over 21 and you have to have a valid ID. You can buy up to an ounce or the equivalent, and you can possess up to an ounce of recreational marijuana in public. If you have a medical marijuana card and a valid ID, you can buy up to 2 ounces, and you can possess up to 2 ounces in public.
Though marijuana can be possessed in public, it can only be used on private property that isn't open to the general public. All residences are also limited to a maximum number of plants.
So the city of Boulder is pretty strict. It says 6 plants or less per household. So that's regardless of doctor's recommendation. That's regardless of the number of people living in the household.
Marijuana plants should also be in a separate locked space that minors can't access. Marijuana itself should also be locked up in the home.
The city's homepage at bouldercolorado.gov, and then if you go /marijuana, there's actually quite a bit of information. There's links to marijuana licensed businesses if you have questions about the licensed businesses, general information about marijuana in Boulder, and the marijuana odor complaint form is there.
It's been 15 years since City Council approved an outdoor lighting ordinance requiring non-compliant lighting fixtures to be replaced. The goal of this ordinance is to promote energy conservation and improve safety and security. Coming up on November 15th, the 15-year period allowing all buildings to come into compliance will end. The city's outdoor lighting ordinance has been in effect since 2003. Since its adoption, a 15-year grace period was established to allow public and private sites to come into compliance.
Ultimately, it's meant to lower the overall lighting levels in the city so that there's the ability to look up in the sky at nighttime and see the stars. In a lot of studies, it shows that the lower light levels are actually a more healthy thing for humans and animals.
On November 16th, after the 15-year period expires, full compliance will be required. This means that all building permits will require full compliance with the city's lighting codes. Rental licenses will be given out on a reduced term unless the property owner proves the property is in full compliance. For single-family homes, it will be a matter of selecting the correct lights to install on the house and putting them inside the correct fixture.
With a light fixture, it's limited to 900 lumens, so that's the light output from the light. And that equates to 60 watts for incandescent lights and 15 watts for LED type lights. So those lights need to be within a fixture that blocks or diffuses the light. So that means it has to be within an encasement that points the light downward. So you're not having a direct view of the light bulb, basically.
All commercial and industrial sites must show compliance by providing a lighting plan.
We look at different lighting levels in different parts of a site, and we want to make sure that those lighting levels aren't spilling over onto adjacent sites. So for larger projects, there needs to be usually a lighting expert or consultant or an architect or contractor that specializes in lighting that will need to look at it and make sure that a site is compliant when they come in for permit.
More information on the city's outdoor lighting ordinance can be found on the website seen on your screen. Since the purchase of the Boulder Community Health properties in December of 2015, the city has been working on a planning process to guide the redevelopment of the nearly 9-acre site. On Monday, October 29th, the city's Alpine Blossom project team will host a workshop for community members regarding the area planning process. During the workshop, community members will view scenarios that illustrate 5 trade-offs that will need to be made related to the city-owned property. Staff will also be providing a brief presentation at the beginning of the workshop. The event will be held at the Carruthers Biotechnology Building on Monday, October 29th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Spanish interpretation will be available throughout the event. To RSVP to the workshop, please visit the website seen on your screen. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of Inside Boulder News. If you have pictures, news tips, or events you'd like to see featured, we love to hear from you. Connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also sign up to receive video updates right in your inbox. Just go to boulderchannel8.com and click on subscribe. Have a good week.